Okay, let's see what this sounds like. This is a microphone that I have had for a while. I bought it for my future studio, but we're going to see what it sounds like now. I'm just going to try it on replay, and if it sounds good, let me know. It's quite a quality microphone I've got here, so you're going to have to let me know what it sounds like. I'm going to try and play it on the replay before we start the show. Bear with me. Okay, so we are good to go. Making his debut, the microphone's debut. It's the LD Systems D101 36 USB. Um, it's a microphone that just plug in and play microphone. For those people who are interested in see what type of microphone this is, it's the first time I'm using it. I've had it for almost a year, believe it or not. I've never used a microphone before, so this is the first time I'm using it. Tried to install it before, and well, I wasn't patient enough to see it get installed, and I just kind of threw it into a box. But now BWTM have a decent microphone, so epic stuff, and probably great for commentary in the future and all the rest of it. I know some of you are probably thinking, why did you do that? Why did you throw that microphone away and put it aside? Brand new microphone, cost quite a bit of money for it as well. But I was waiting to get the whole studio set up and kitted out and then use the microphone. But nonetheless, we are here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. We are about good sounds good, but recommend a pop shield or hangout with stretched tights. I've got the thing to put it on as well, which I will do. So we'll just flow with this at the moment. Then tomorrow I'll hook it up and set it up properly, and that's going to be our microphone from now on. Anyway, I digress. Where do we begin with this stuff? David Haye versus Tony Bellew. Well, that's what it was painted or pictured or put out. Haye was the A side, Bellew was the B side. We watched Haye make his comeback against Mark Demore, the guy who'd never been dominated before. Haye told us, but I made quite clear to everybody on YouTube that he'd already been chinned by a guy called Digger. So David was lying to us there. And then we saw David's second episode against the Cobra, who got knocked down by a jab. So there were two fights, and in the two fights, I did mention that David Haye hadn't had a competitive fight since the year I flew off to Grenada, which was in 2012 against Derek Chisora. In fact, I flew out the day after that fight. Yes, and I left, and I spent almost 2 years in Grenada. That's beside the point. My point is, David Haye was expected to, by many people's estimation, to blow Tony Bellew away. I mean, literally, I think I'd said he'd blow Tony Bellew away within 3 or 4 rounds. And, well, there was something wrong automatically from, you know, when you make a prediction. It's no excuse. You make a prediction based on the guy you've got in your mind, based on the guy you've seen, based on the guy that you've seen do knock guys over. You think, oh, that guy's going to come to the ring. If that guy turns up to the ring, then this will happen. And that's a really important part of predictions that I seem to miss out, or I'm gaining knowledge with, or experience with the hard way. It's not about how you picture a fighter is going to come in the ring. It's whether that fighter A is going to come into the ring fight ready, B, fight fit, C, mentally switched on, D, fight to a smart game plan, And Eve not just fight to it, execute it, and finish the job in the way you expect him to do it, injury free. Well, I wasn't expecting David Haye to, from the first round, he looked uncoordinated. His punches looked weird, and he didn't seem like he could get full velocity in his shots. He really looked like a gunslinger in there. I mean, quite literally, the technique was really poor. But you can't, when you make a prediction, you can't predict during the fight, or you can do in your commentator and say, well, I can see this and that. But he looked off from round one. He did not look like the slick David Haye that fought John Ruiz, or the guy that fought Audley, or the guy that knocked over, what's his name? Monty Barrett. He didn't look anything like that. And Bellew was catching him with shots. And although I thought Haye was doing a good job up to that point, I thought he was winning the fight, then he had that injury with his Achilles or his ankle or whatever that twisted. And then to be fair to Haye, he showed lots of guts and heart to get himself through, as long as he did, through to the 11th round. The worrying thing for all this is the same Tony Bellew that got knocked over by Makabu, who's 13.5 stone. The same Tony Bellew that got knocked down by Orville McKenzie. The same Tony Bellew that got absolutely destroyed. His head almost got taken off of his shoulders by Adonis Stevenson. That Tony Bellew. That Tony Bellew. When his cruiserweight debut got dropped heavily. That Tony Bellew. So you thought, moving up at heavyweight, it's a no-brainer. Haye hits him, he hits the deck, fight done. It seemed a no-brainer. But for some reason, that didn't happen. Stories afterwards, people say Haye was injured coming into the fight. More to the point, I'm more concerned about Haye's technique and that right hand and the left hook. Does he generate the same sort of power as he did back in the day? Is his technique allowing him to throw those punches? Did he get too big? Is he too upper body heavy now? Is his balance right? If you're not got good balance, no matter how big a punch you are, if you haven't got balance in your feet, and you're not gripping the canvas right, then you can't land your shots. It's like having a house built on sand. As soon as the water comes through or the waves come through, or there's a storm, your house is in trouble. You get flooded. So, and then David Haye, he's made this miraculous recovery from this Achilles injury. It looked pretty bad, and he's fighting December the 16th. The first question is David Haye fully fit? Is he battle ready? Is he battle scarred? Is David Haye even fully fighting fit? Now, throughout the first fight, we saw David Haye on the boat, on the yacht, blah, 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 blah. And you know the story. You know what happened there. So he was in relatively good shape. Recently, David Haye, you've seen a lot of him taking pictures of him and his son here, him and his son there, which is great. It's great when a father and son can spend that time together. Believe me, it's a fantastic feeling. And especially when people are calling him out about not spending time with his son, maybe that is a basically fingers up to those who are criticizing for not being a good enough dad. Maybe. But he spent a lot of time being dad with his son, which is fine. But I'm a bit confused. David Haye is doing this now. So he took a photograph the other day with him and his son down in Brighton. Shouldn't you be training? Shouldn't you be in training camp preparing for the biggest fight of your life and your career? Okay, maybe he's doing. I don't know. I don't get that. And then more to the point, I've lost my train of thought. I was thinking about David Haye, his training application. He's got his new trainer back with it. He's got his trainer back with him now. He's his amateur coach. I mean, Is David Haye being trained by a trainer that is listening to him, or is he listening to the trainer? That's another question. I don't know what his relationship is like with his trainer. You know, the fact that it seemed, or the impression I got, was that David Haye was telling McGuigan what he wanted to do. That's what I'm getting the impression of Shane McGuigan. I don't know. But if that's the same way, then I'm a bit concerned as to how dedicated David Haye is. Oh, yes. And the second point I have to bring to the table as well. David Haye, the promoter. Haymaker Promotions and Ringstar, the TV deal, Joe Joyce, Page and Michael Page and the other guy he's got a stable of fighters now. He's got a TV deal. I mean, has he got enough time to prepare diligently for the biggest fight of his career? This is the biggest fight of his career, because if he loses this, he's done. So the question people have got to ask themselves is Tony Bellew that good? Or is David Haye that bad? And the other question is, when you look at David Haye, I don't know if it's just me, but it's a thing called old father time. It could be the fact that David Haye's older. People like to reminisce about David Haye when he was younger, in his younger days. But, you know, this is a guy that I assume parties very hard and has lived a life. And you've just got to wonder how much of that has run the world dry with David Haye. Even if David Haye came in at 15 stone and fit and sharp, at what point of the decline is David Haye in? That's what I ask boxing fans. How far in the decline is David Haye? Yeah, he looks lighter, but how much? Even if he's lighter, that also means him being lighter, the punch resistance might not be there as much. So he may be lighter, I agree, and he may be faster, I agree. But does that mean he beats Tony Bellew? I don't know. I don't know. Timing beats speed. And I think every time David's technique's not good, I don't think David Haye's technique's going to change. I think David's going to be David. I don't think at 30, whatever he is now, I don't think he's going to change. I really don't. I really don't. Um, um, I think, you see, immediate rematches, when we look at immediate rematches, generally the guy that won the first fight wins the second fight. And sometimes they win the second fight even quicker. So if Bellew, for me, if Bellew can get past the first 5 or 6, if he can get past the first 6 rounds and he doesn't get knocked down or hurt or beaten up, then I think he's got a good chance of stopping Haye in the second half of the fight. I think. But I think David Haye just met a guy that knows got his number. He may have just met a guy that is mentally stronger than him, a guy that's not intimidated by his punching power, a guy that's beat him, and a guy that believes he can beat him again. Now, how fit is David Haye? Has the Achilles injury healed properly? I mean, Salas can do all he wants, but he's not a miracle man. He's not God, and he's not a doctor. The injuries caused by David Haye, or has got David Haye's got, is that due to lifestyle? Is that due to the way he's been training? I don't know. But I'll tell you something. If I were to lean, I would lean with Tony Bellew, actually with an earlier KO, based on the fact that he knows David Haye. He knows David Haye. He knows what David Haye's about. And I think he'll be more confident this fight round. And where I look at the moment, I'm going to go with the guy that the things I do know about rather than the guys that things I don't know about. I think Haye is in the decline. I don't know how far in the decline he is, but he's in the decline. Plus, the fact he's a promoter now. Plus, he's spending more time with his son. And I do make this as a point because I think outside interference is a thing, is a matter that we need to consider here. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna go Tony Bellew on this one. I think, you know, I think that dedication to the sport is important. I think that, you know, you need to see more than a one trick pony. David Haye, I've never seen David Haye box somebody to a point victory. It's always about him blasting guys out of there. And if he can't blast you out of there, then you've got a good chance of you getting in the fight and stop him. You look at the Carl Thompson fight. Thompson showed resistance. Haye couldn't get him out of there. Haye ran out of ideas. Haye got stopped by Carl Thompson. Then his defeat to Vladimir Klitschko. He couldn't knock Vladimir Klitschko out. Ran out of ideas. You saw what happened with Vladimir Klitschko. Another Tony Bellew fight. He couldn't blow Tony Bellew out of there. Bellew stuck around and eventually knocked Haye out. So I just don't think you've got to ask yourself the question. When you look at David Haye is very much an illusion. How much in decline is David Haye? That's what I ask boxing fans. How far in decline is he? Could the David Haye we saw against Tony Bellew be the best David Haye we're ever going to see? And after that fight, it's downhill? I don't know. I can't answer the question to that. I really can't. But what I do know is that Tony Bellew will again try to do his best to win the fight. Definitely. I don't believe David Haye about, oh, you know, if you come to the bank the first time and you rob the bank, you come back again, we're going to put in better security. Okay, fine. Well, you told the person you put in security in, so the person might be even more might be even more cautious regarding breaking in, but they might still attempt to break in again, and they may break in again with all the security you got in, all the cameras you've got in, and still rob you, which is even worse. Even if you put up all the cameras in there, so you know you can see him. You can see him getting drilled. You can see him getting laid out flat this time round. You know. So if I'm gonna go anywhere, I'm actually gonna change my thoughts. I'm gonna go with Tony Bellew, and I'm gonna go with a stoppage inside the first 5 for Tony Bellew. That's what I'm going for. I'm gonna say David Haye. If there's nothing to suggest, I know David Haye, he was 5-1 up and all the rest of it, or somebody said there, and he was doing well, but I mean, would he have lasted the 12 rounds without the injury? I don't know. I have Haye winning by decision, says Mikey. Okay. Let's see what people are saying anyway. I've said something. Let's see what people are saying. Sounds great. I can't wait to see Penfold's face when Haye gets revenge. It would be nice. Thank you for the compliments on the microphone. Great work, Ingram. Your time, your work ethic should be congratulated every time. Thank you very much. Appreciated. David hasn't stubbed his toe since 2011 in Hamburg. Haye is losing. People have to understand it's 2017 version of Haye, not prime Haye. Bellew has his number. I was thinking that Haye was in the first fight injured. His coordination was all wrong, and he knew he had to make it a quick fight. Looked off, and that allowed Bellew to maneuver as well as he did. Haye's movement was shot. I'll tell you something. Another thing about fighters like Haye, because they're so unorthodox and they don't have basic boxing fundamentals, meaning you won't see Haye boxing behind a jab, because he relies on speed and reflexes. When his speed and reflexes go, much like Roy Jones, all the bad mistakes that they'll make him get capitalized later on in their career. This is what I think is happening to David Haye now. Haye needs to come in lighter to get more speed and leverage on the end of the shots. The shot that will knock Bellew out is the shot he can't see. Well, remember, Bellew was a cruiserweight coming up to heavyweight. So the speed that David Haye may have had from cruiserweight coming up to heavyweight. Remember, Tony Bellew was a cruiserweight himself. And remember, he was a light heavyweight first. So he'll see David Haye's punches faster than most heavyweights. And that's an advantage as well. Haye also telegraphed his punches way too much. Bellew rode a lot of the shots and they didn't have as much impact as usual. Can he punch the same way since all these injuries? Another question. Bellew was holding his own against Stevenson, but he looked weight drained in that fight. Listen, that left hand, I don't think even if Bellew was fully hydrated, he would have taken Stevenson's power. Stevenson is one hell of a puncher. He should come in around 15 stone. Yeah, if he comes in lighter, that's great. But if he was lighter, do you think his punch resistance would have been the same? Haye looked light and in shape at the Joyce fight. Okay. Maybe he wasn't doing as much weight training. If Haye can get past the early rounds, if Bellew can get past the early rounds, he has a great chance. I agree with you, Dr. Dredd. I don't think Bellew has knockout power at heavyweight at all. Let's hope not. I can't call this fight. Too many questions about it. It says call 2971. The mind is willing, but the body is weak, says Dr. Drake. That could be true about Haye. If Haye's healthy, then his technique will be on point. He also knows Bellew can hold the shot at heavyweight and should approach it as the boxer, not the reckless brawler. Salas will be drilling that into him. Yeah, but can you see David Haye sticking to a game plan? I can't. It'd be funny if Bellew blew Haye out in the first round. LOL. It might not be so funny for Haye fans. Haye was injured going into the fight. Was still 5-1 up versus Bellew until that deadly injury. Well, 9 months is not enough for Achilles. Haye took 6 months off. That's my point right there, AO. My only worry is Haye rushing back for this final payday, knowing Bellew would have moved on to their heavyweight title had Haye not been ready for December. I must admit, it feels rushed to me. Me too. Would Haye beat Chisora White at this stage? I wouldn't want to see him fight. I'd like to see him fight Dillian White, not Chisora. Haye might become the new Audley. Difficult. At least Haye won the world title. Imagine the reaction if Haye got drilled in 4 rounds. Interesting. Haye is here for the last final payday because he knows he ain't getting the Joshua fight after he loses to Bellew. Tony has his number and Haye is far out of his prime on the slide for sure. I agree. Mikey's got Haye winning by decision. I think he'll adopt a boxer's approach. Haye, boxer's approach. Here, got it. Be more careful. Pick his shots better. If not, then he'll lose. Akulis180 says, Haye looked trim months ago. Will be a lot lighter and faster. Will box patiently behind his jab, like versus Enzo stops Bellew 4-6. You're talking about Haye when he fought Enzo. That Haye would have destroyed Tony Bellew. That David Haye. It comes down to how much Haye comes. It comes down. I think it comes down how Haye comes to the fight. I agree. Bellew wins and retires. Haye sticks to the promotional game. Interesting. On Top TV, Bellew took his best shot. So what's he gonna do? Good point. But that's what Stavern said about Wilder, right? I took his best shots. I see Haye be much more sniper-like. Watch for him to look and catch Bellew out because he knows he can't knock Bellew out when Bellew's in defensive mode. Bellew is vulnerable when he's trading. Yes, Haye will win and it will be a mismatch fight in 3. Okay. Did you guys see White calling Bellew out on Twitter the other day? Yeah. I think Haye will win on points. That'll be a first. What both won't commit in the rematch as it's too much to lose, leaving yourself open. Bellew will be cautioned. Haye will fight defensively. Bellew couldn't hurt Bay with one leg for 5 rounds, so no way Bellew stops Haye. He stopped him in the first fight. Knocked him with a left hook through the ropes. Like James Elibashir said, Bellew has his number. Haye always said he was going to retire early, but it just hanging around without the right dedication. There you go there. So those are my thoughts. Haye will win most rounds. Then Bellew gets the KO mid to late rounds. Well, there you go. That's it. A painful night for Haye fans, it looks. And with David Haye, Bermain Stavern, Eric Molina. We could be seeing the end of a group of fighters potentially. Haye, Stavern, Molina, Chisora, Lewison. Maybe it's the end of the road for these guys. Just maybe. So we'll see. Coming up next, we got at 9:45. I want to talk about Adonis Stevenson and Badou Jack, and then we're going to do our show, our European boxing show with Eastern European boxing show with our friend Eugene. All right, be back soon. Take care. Don't forget to rate and subscribe and to leave your comments if you like this video. We appreciate it.